asking for permission versus asking for forgiveness, very important relationship skill that I'm working on, that I want to share my strategy for and the way that I think analytically. Welcome and much love, Trav here. I hope this helps you as we try to have better relationships in everything that we do, try to understand each other better, try to get more done with less friction. So this is an important concept of, am I going to ask for permission here or am I going to ask for forgiveness? Basically, I'm going to take an action and this action affects other people. I'm not certain how they feel about it. Am I going to wait to see if it's okay with them and then make a move, or am I just going to proceed and get it done, right? So we're going to go a little more into how each one works, and we'll go into some of the nuances between when to use each, but basically neither is correct all the time. It's good to have both. It's okay to kind of have a personality that skews you towards one or the other, but you want to be generally aware that sometimes forgiveness is not an option. It won't be given to you. Sometimes you're slowing yourself too much down by waiting for permission on all things. So first, pros and cons. Pros and cons of asking for forgiveness, where I'm just going to go ahead and do this thing and hope that it's okay with you, right? So and we'll go into specific examples. We'll keep it kind of vague so it's not too personal. But basically, I'm going to get things done faster. I'm not going to have to spend time waiting. I'm just going to be able to take action. I'm going to be able to get a lot of things done. I'm going to be able to get more done. But the downside is that sometimes boundaries get crossed. And I talked about this in the last video, personal boundaries. And I wanted to mention that, like, sometimes you can't step into someone's past boundary zone. Usually it's okay to break a boundary one time, so to know where they are if you respect it afterwards. But sometimes it's hard to ask for forgiveness. People don't want to give it; they're not willing, and for good reason. If you do something you really should have asked for, or not even asked, not even done, then you're going to have some problems. And sometimes a bridge gets burned. Relationships can get ruined that way. So it's more high risk, high reward. You got more stuff done, but you can find yourself paying a social cost. On the other hand, the pros and cons of I'm going to ask for permission before I act is sometimes just less gets done. You have to wait to talk to them, and then they might say no also. And sometimes they say no because they're afraid of change, or they're too strict, and they don't realize how it affects you. Sometimes people don't even know what they want, which is one of the reasons why sometimes it's good to ask for forgiveness, because people are mad, but something useful got done. So the criteria for when to choose one or the other, and by the way, I tend to skew towards asking for forgiveness. Just personally, I like to get shit done. I don't like to wait, and I generally think things will be okay. I'll be able to talk to people, and it'll be all right. But if you skew towards asking for permission, I think that's okay too. The key is the balance, because for instance, if it's like, I'm going to move this person's laundry so I can get my laundry in, if I have to wait to ask for permission, it's not going to get done in time, and they might be a little bit mad that you touched their things, but they'll get over it. That's one example of asking for permission versus asking for forgiveness. And there's a couple things here. It's like, one, do you really need to do something? Like whether it's a business action or clean your clothes or get some food for the family. It just has to get done. It just needs to get done. Then it's definitely better in that situation to ask for forgiveness. Just go ahead, and I hope everyone's satisfied with what you did. If you really don't need it, then it may be better to ask for permission. Like, I don't really need this thing, especially if forgiveness is hard to give. So for example, if it's something mundane like moving someone's laundry or moving someone's car, everyday tasks and stuff like that, then better to get it done. On the other hand, and go to the extreme here, If it's about having sex, right? In theory, you can read each other's minds and you know exactly where you're at. In practice, that's often not the case, and you have to have multiple conversations about it, because if you're like, I'm just going to do what I want and ask for forgiveness, like, you won't get forgiven, right? So there it may be better, and again, there's different situations. A lot of asking for either is figuring out the boundaries. Like, if you ask for permission, you got a yes, you kind of know that you can, the boundary is not there. If you get a no, you know the boundary is not there. If you ask for forgiveness, you overstep the boundary. That can be a very painful way to find out, and people won't forgive you, right? So the key is discerning, is being and thinking and being strategic, and not seeing everything as a hammer and nail situation. Sometimes you got to skew towards one or the other. So I hope you find that useful. My question for you, got a couple questions for you to either think about and or leave a comment about. And the first one is, are you a type of person who tends to do one or the other? Ask permission, ask for forgiveness, or not even take action because you're uncomfortable doing either. That's an issue, can be an issue you have as well. And then the second thing is, what do you need to work on, and in what situations have you done the wrong thing? Like, you got too slowed up over something that turned out to be minor, or you went ahead and did something that turns out people really didn't want you to do. So you don't have to share those situations, you can think about it. And as always, the best way to share is to go out in the world and apply. So hope you find that useful. Appreciate you. Much love. Speak to you soon, and look forward to hearing what you have to say in the comments. Peace.